Imagine this for a second. It's a Monday afternoon. You're at the local hockey rink for senior night. You can smell the popcorn, the cold air from the ice. The stands are just packed with parents. Cameras are going off. Everyone's cheering.
It's the perfect picture of a community event. Safe, happy.
And then, in a single heartbeat, that feeling of safety is just.
Yes.
It's revealed to be a complete lie.
It's the absolute nightmare scenario. You're there to watch a hockey game, and suddenly you're in the middle of a war zone. And that is exactly what happened at the Dennis M. Lynch Arena in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Today on this deep dive, we're not just going to read you the headlines, we're ripping them open. We're looking at a tragedy that, frankly, should have been stopped.
We're talking about a system that ignored neon red flags. And we have to talk about the uncomfortable truth of who actually keeps us safe when the government fails.
We're going to connect some dots that I think the mainstream news is, well, they seem too afraid to touch.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about a very specific shooter profile, a massive failure in threat detection, and a social media post made just 24 hours before that practically screamed, "I'm about to do something horrible."
And we're going to talk about the hero. Because look, while the police did their best, they weren't the ones who stopped the killing.
No, they weren't. A regular citizen did. And that right there is the part of the story that matters most.
So let's get the facts on the table. We need to understand the scale of this. This was last Monday, about 2:30 in the afternoon. A shooter walks into the Lynch Arena.
And this wasn't, a random person off the street. The shooter was 56-year-old Robert K. Dorgan. Now, you might hear some confusion in the reporting on this.
Why is that?
Because Dorgan was a biological male who self-reported undergoing gender reassignment surgery back in 2020. He also went by the name Roberta Esposito.
Okay, so Dorgan walks in and just opens fire. The toll is it's gut-wrenching.
It is. 2 people dead, 3 others critically injured, and the shooter is also dead.
But the who in this story is just as tragic as the how many.
Right. Police Chief Tina Goncalves called it a targeted family dispute, but that just sounds so soft. This was a man hunting his own family.
He targeted his ex-wife.
And his son.
His own son.
His son was the goalie for the team. A high school senior. He's on the ice, in his gear, and his father walks in and murders him. I mean, it's just pure evil. There's no other word for it.
And the 3 others who were hurt, they're believed to be former in-laws.
That's the report. So this guy, he went there with a list. He went there to wipe out his entire past life.
A classic family annihilator mindset. But doing it in public.
In front of a crowd of families, kids, even scouts who were there. It's an extra layer of just unimaginable cruelty.
So let's try to put ourselves in that rink. A hockey game is loud. You've got buzzers, shouting, sticks hitting the boards.
Exactly. And when those first shots rang out, witnesses said they didn't even react at first.
They thought it was part of the game.
Yeah, they thought it was balloons popping for the seniors, or maybe sticks banging on the glass.
That's that normalcy bias we always talk about. Your brain just, it doesn't want to compute that someone is shooting a gun at a high school hockey game.
Right. And you lose precious seconds trying to make sense of it. In those seconds, the shooter has total control. You had players just scrambling, slipping on their skates, trying to get to the locker rooms, parents diving over seats to cover their kids.
It was absolute chaos.
Yeah.
And this entire thing was being live streamed.
On Live Barn, yeah. So we actually have footage of this peaceful celebration turning into a massacre in an instant.
But in the middle of all that panic, when everyone's first instinct is to run or hide, one person did something else.
The Good Samaritan.
Tell us about him.
The police report is very specific. It says a bystander, and reports say it was a father from another family, interjected.
Interjected. That's a very polite way of saying he tackled a man who was actively shooting people.
He didn't wait. He didn't wait for the SWAT team or negotiators. He just saw a direct threat to those kids, and he engaged.
And the police chief, Goncalves, she gave him full credit.
She did. She said this man brought a swift end to the tragedy. Dorgan is dead from a self-inflicted wound, but that only happened because he was cornered, because he was confronted by this dad.
And you have to think, if that dad waits, even for a few minutes.
The police response was fast. It was just minutes. But a shooter can fire dozens of rounds in 2 or 3 minutes. If that dad doesn't step up, we are looking at double-digit casualties easily.
It's a hard truth, isn't it? When seconds count, the police are minutes away.
It's just physics. The government cannot be everywhere at once. We're told to rely on officials for our safety, but when it really comes down to it, you are your own first responder.
That dad understood that.
He didn't outsource his family safety. He took responsibility. It takes incredible courage. Most people freeze. He fought.
And that was the difference between a tragedy and a complete catastrophe.
Absolutely.
So the threat is stopped. But now we have to ask the question that always comes next.
Mm-hmm.
Who was Robert Dorgan? Did he just snap?
See, this is where that surprise narrative completely falls apart. If you look at the court records, this wasn't a snap. This was a slow-motion train wreck that everyone watched happen for years.
Okay, so let's look at the file. What do we know?
He was an employee at Bath Iron Works up in Maine, but was living in North Providence. The timeline is really crucial here. He was born male. Around 2020, he transitions. He starts going by Roberta.
And that's when the problems start.
They explode almost immediately. His ex-wife filed for divorce in 2020, and I've seen the filings. She didn't just check the box for irreconcilable differences.
No, she was specific.
Very specific. She cited the gender reassignment surgery, but she linked it directly to, quote, narcissistic and personality disorder traits.
Narcissistic personality disorder.
And
That's a huge red flag.
It's a massive red flag. It means you lack empathy. It means you see yourself as the victim in every single story. And when you combine that kind of mental instability with a major life change like transition and a divorce, it's a recipe for violence.
And it wasn't just his wife he was fighting with, it was everyone.
Everyone. He had his own mother arrested for assault in 2020. He was accusing his father-in-law of threatening him with an Asian street gang.
An Asian street gang, seriously?
In Rhode Island, it sounds completely delusional. It's pure paranoia. He believed there was this conspiracy against him.
And the family knew. That's the part that just hurts. His daughter, the one who survived. She told reporters her father had mental health issues.
She used the words very sick. The family knew he was sick. The courts knew. The police almost certainly had reports on him. But he was still walking free, and he was still able to walk into that arena with a gun.
It feels like the whole system is just terrified to intervene these days.
Well, you have to look at the optics, right? We live in a world where certain groups are seen as protected classes. If the authorities had intervened earlier, if they had flagged him as dangerous based on his erratic behavior during his transition,
They would have been called bigots.
Exactly. And that's the question nobody wants to answer, but we have to ask it. Because this wasn't just a private breakdown. He broadcast his intentions.
You're talking about the post on X?
Yes.
Huh.
On Sunday, one day before the shooting, Robert Dorgan is on X. And he is not just scrolling. He's getting into political arguments.
He replies to a post from Kevin Sorbo.
Right. Kevin Sorbo, the actor, very conservative, very outspoken. Sorbo had posted something critical of Sarah McBride, a transgender politician. Dorgan, posting as Roberta Esposito, sees this and replies.
And what does he say? Read the quote.
He wrote, "Keep bashing us, but do not wonder why we go berserk."
Go berserk. And he capitalized the word berserk.
He capitalized it. He told us exactly what he was going to do. Berserk isn't an ambiguous word. It means a violent, out-of-control frenzy. It's a direct threat.
So here is the million-dollar question. We have algorithms that can ban you for misgendering someone. We have tech that can shadow ban you for questioning an election. How does an algorithm not flag a guy promising to go berserk?
Because the algorithm is biased. Let's just be real here. If a guy with a Make America Great Again hat in his profile picture replied to a liberal politician and wrote, "Watch us go berserk," do you honestly think his account would have stayed up for 5 minutes?
No way. The FBI would have been knocking on his door within an hour.
Exactly. It would be labeled domestic extremism. It would be front page news. But when the threat comes from someone in a marginalized group, from the quote-unquote victim class, the system turns a blind eye.
It's seen as venting.
It's seen as venting or activism right up until the moment he pulls the trigger. It's a deadly double standard. We're prioritizing political correctness over actual public safety.
And this isn't an isolated incident. We have to look at the pattern here.
We do. This shooting in Rhode Island happened less than a week after another shooting in Tumbler, Rio, Canada.
I remember that story. That was at a school as well.
Yes. And the shooter in that case was also a transgender individual. So you have two school-related shootings, less than a week apart, both involving trans shooters.
Now look, if we had 2 shootings in a week, by any other specific demographic, we would be having a national conversation about it. The media would be analyzing the culture of that group.
Oh, absolutely. If these were, say, white Christian nationalists, we would have 2047 coverage on the danger of radicalization.
Yeah.
But because it involves trans individuals, the media gets very, very quiet.
They don't want to touch it.
They don't want to talk about the severe mental health issues that can accompany this. They don't want to talk about the volatility. And that silence is dangerous.
The daughter said he was sick. Why aren't we helping these people instead of just affirming everything they do, no matter how unstable they become?
That is the tragedy. True compassion would mean treating the underlying mental illness. It would mean seeing the paranoia and saying, "You are not well, we need to stop you." Instead, we validate, we ignore threats because we're scared of being canceled, and innocent people die.
Innocent people like a high school senior playing goalie.
And his mom.
That kid had his whole life ahead of him. His mother was just doing what moms do, cheering him on. And the community is just shattered. I mean, this is a co-op team. Coventry and Johnston, these are small, tight-knit towns.
Of course. The governor, Dan McKee, issued a statement. The mayor of Pawtucket is setting up grief counseling. The Rhode Island Interscholastic League suspended all games statewide.
Which they had to do. You can't just go play hockey the next day.
No, the trauma is too deep. And you saw the pro teams, the Bruins, Celtics, Patriots, all sending condolences.
And it's nice to see the support, but honestly, thoughts and prayers don't bring that kid back.
And they don't fix the system that let this happen. Statements are easy. Fixing the problem is hard.
Fixing it means admitting our threat detection systems are completely broken. It means admitting our family courts are letting dangerous people walk free.
And it means admitting that inclusion should never mean ignoring obvious screaming red flags.
We have to get back to a place where facts matter more than feelings.
Precisely. If someone tells you they have narcissistic personality disorder and they are publicly threatening to go berserk, I don't care how they identify. I care that they are a danger to others.
It all brings me back to that dad in the stands, the Good Samaritan.
He is the only part of this story that gives me any hope.
Why do you think he was the one who acted?
Because he wasn't waiting for permission. He had what some people call a sheepdog mentality. You know, most people are sheep. They're peaceful. They just want to live their lives. Then you have the wolves, the Robert Dorgans, who prey on the sheep.
And the sheepdog.
The sheepdog is the one who has the capacity for violence, but uses it only to protect the flock.
We demonize masculinity so much these days. We tell men to be passive, to sit down. But in that moment, a strong man saved those kids.
That is the absolute truth. You can complain about so-called manliness all you want in a classroom, but when a shooter walks into a building, you pray there's a man in that room willing to do what needs to be done.
It makes you wonder how many of us would be able to do that.
It's a question every single person listening should ask themselves right now. If you were in those stands, would you dive under the seat? Or would you stand up?
The police were minutes away. He only had seconds.
We need more people who understand that. We need to stop pretending the state can wrap us all in bubble wrap. The world is dangerous, evil is real, and the only thing that reliably stops evil is good people who are willing to fight back.
And maybe we need to stop ignoring warning signs just because they appear on a screen.
That is the final lesson here. The digital world is the real world. When someone shows you who they are on X, believe them. Dorgan told us he was going to snap. He told us he was angry and unstable.
And system just scrolled right past it.
Scrolled right past it because it didn't fit the preferred narrative. We cannot afford to let that happen again.
So for the parents listening right now, what's the takeaway?
Be vigilant, always. Watch your surroundings. Don't just trust that the authorities have flagged the bad guys, because they probably haven't. And if you see something wrong in your own family, in your own community, speak up. Don't let political correctness silence your gut instinct.
If your gut says danger, listen to it.
100%. It's better to be called a name than to be a victim.
That's a powerful place to leave it. This is a heavy story, but we have to be willing to look these things right in the eye.
We can't afford to look away.
I just want to leave you all with one final thought. We have built this massive surveillance state. We have cameras everywhere, AI tracking our purchases, everything we do online. Yet a man can publicly threaten mass violence on a major platform and then walk into a high school arena with a gun the next day, and nothing happens. Maybe we should stop worrying about banning gas stoves and start worrying about why our smart systems are so incredibly stupid when it comes to actual real-world threats.
That's the question of the day.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Stay alert, stay safe, and watch out for each other.
Stay safe.